It's time for this week's episode of Brandon's Sports Talk.
Welcome back to Brandon's Sports Talk. In today's episode, I had the privilege to interview the UAB assistant women's basketball coach, Coach Alison Seberger. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to start coaching in college basketball?
Yes. So I come from a basketball background. My dad played college basketball. So growing up, basketball was in our blood. I always wanted to play basketball. And I obviously went and played college basketball at Illinois State University. And probably about my sophomore year, end of freshman year, I kind of really took into consideration that I wanted to be this is what I wanted to do for my life. I love basketball. I loved how coaches impacted me on a daily, and I wanted to be able to do that for the young women that I would be able to have the privilege to coach. So it was something that I could see myself doing, whether I was kind of probably from the young age. I mean, I always wanted to go to basketball games with my dad. Through AAU seasons and stuff like that, there were times when some of my teammates would go back to the hotel or things like that, but I was in the gym with my dad watching basketball. So I always loved it. And it's kind of it's a career that not everyone gets to do. And it's something that is a privilege that I get to do every day.
What was your playing time like at Illinois State?
So it was kind of interesting. I committed to one coach in 2009, and about two and a half, 3 months before I'd be there my freshman summer, they left. The head coach and the whole staff left to go to a different university. So I got a whole new staff that had never really seen me play, but I built relationships with my future teammates prior to me even being there. So it was the school. I also picked the school for academics reasons besides basketball. So I, stuck with it and ended up having some amazing coaches, teammates. And then going into my senior year, I had another coaching change. So going into my senior year of college, I had a whole new staff. So went from 3 years playing with a staff that didn't really know me to fourth year, a staff not really knowing me and what I could do. So I kind of throughout those 4 years changed positions. I was a shooting guard when I came in and was recruited, to then by senior year, I was playing a center post player. So kind of went through all the different things, ups and downs as you could as a player, but was able to pull through on the end, and it makes me who I am today.
What was it like putting on that Illinois State basketball jersey?
I mean, it was awesome. So being from the state of Illinois, you play your state playoffs in Redbird Arena, which is the arena at Illinois State. And so I won my senior year state title on Redbird Arena. So every time putting an Illinois State jersey on every day, it just brought back those memories of high school and what I was able to do in high school. But also it brought back, or it just gave me the moments of what it felt like to represent a university and play for ISU across my chest and not my last name. And I just brought a lot of memories every time of what you go into day in and day out on the practice court, travel, everything you do with your teammates, and all the hard work you put in off the court as well.
Of course, as you talked about it, what was it like playing for not only the university, but the state that you grew up in?
It was awesome. I mean, because you kind of have a history. There's a lot of times a lot of community members participate in helping at the high school state championships in the state of Illinois. So a lot of those community members, you kind of had a following somewhat. They started to, when they knew that you committed to Illinois State, I kind of had fans before I knew I had fans of me down there in Bloomington Normal. So that was pretty cool. And there's some of them that I still talk to this day, community members that came to every single one of our games at ISU, that I still talk to, that reach out, try to see how I'm doing and follow where I am in my career today.
What was it like in 2014 becoming the team captain?
It kind of it was a huge honor, after grinding for 3 years with 2 different staffs, my senior year, getting a whole new staff. So just kind of, I think, a compliment from my teammates of what I was doing, trying to lead the team, but also like my whole 4 years in career, I wanted to be treated the way I was going to treat other people, the golden rule. And so I think they kind of just saw that in me, and I was going to work hard every day. It didn't matter if I was starting, playing, whatever it was, I was going to work hard and be for the team and not about me. So I think that kind of is what led to me being a captain that year.
What was it like coming out of college, getting your first coaching job in North Carolina at Lenoir-Rhyne?
It took me out of my comfort zone, especially because, again, even though throughout my career, I had many different coaches that I didn't know me, didn't know how I could play. That was kind of how it was with that first coaching job. I didn't know him, but I went out there for an interview, and then, a couple weeks later got the job. And funny thing with that as well is I got there in August of 2014, and 2.5 weeks after that, he actually left and took a different job. So I then still was hired, but then worked under a different coach too. So it kind of, for me at that point, it was like, well, this is what I've done my whole college career. So, let's roll with it. And it was probably one of the best 2 years of my life. I mean, I lived in an area I'd never really been to, met some pretty amazing people, and got to coach some pretty awesome girls that to this day I still communicate with. And it's a great area. So.
What was it like, obviously, being the assistant coach at Lenoir-Rhyne, but also the strength and conditioning coach too?
Yeah, that was something different. But at the Division II level, you kind of are, you wear a hat with everything. So being between me and one of the other assistants, we did the strength and conditioning. So it kind of helps being a former student athlete and knowing how to do things. But it was all hands on deck when you're at that level. And I think it really provided me the ability to be where I am today, being able to do so many different things and all the steps that I've been to. It allowed me to be able to, see things in all the different areas, and appreciate now to this day having strength and conditioning coaches that do just that, not having to have to do that anymore.
What was it like, obviously, leaving Lenoir-Rhyne to go as the director of basketball operations at Kent State?
Yep. So actually, the person that hired me at Kent State was the coach that hired me at Lenoir-Rhyne. So he was the head coach at Lenoir-Rhyne before he left and took a Division I assistant job. And when he then got the Division I head coaching job at Kent State, he called me, and I went out and interviewed for the director of basketball operations job there. So, it felt like family, and the staff that he built, they to this day are some of my closest friends and people that I talk to about different things. But it was a little bit of a learning curve. My first year being, in charge of team travel, food, all of that stuff. and not having graduate assistants or anyone really to help me. So I was, running around like a crazy person at a lot of places, but got the job done. And probably, the first or 3.5 years of doing that is kind of crazy. But I now have respect for any director of basketball operations and at any institution. But I also had a head coach that, allowed me to do what I needed to do and, was willing to help in areas when I needed it. Whether, sometimes the food couldn't get delivered and we'd have to go pick it up. It was no issue or things like that. So little things like that. And really willing to work with me on travel times when we needed to leave at different times. But it was definitely an experience, and those people in Kent are some of my closest friends, whether they were on staff with me or throughout the university.
Of course, what was it like going to UNA, North Alabama, to become the assistant coach?
It was awesome. And from there, moving down south after living in Midwest for pretty much my whole life, other than when I lived in North Carolina. So that was a little bit of a culture shock, the heat. But I learned a lot under the leadership of Missy Tiber there. And it kind of helped me grow to where I am again today as an assistant at UAB. But worked with some amazing coaches, coached some amazing players, 2 people that are the all-time leading scorers in the history of the school that I got to coach. Great kids and worked hard. It was pretty cool too to be a part of program transitioning from Division II to Division I. So they're in their year 4 of transitioning into Division I. So just being able to, make noise. We weren't, and beating some of the top teams. I think the highlight there was my first year. We went into Florida Gulf Coast University and beat them. They were ranked, I think, 23rd at the time, went into Alico Arena and beat them in the last game before the conference tournament. But then again, before things in 2020 got a little paused. But so that was a great, no other team has really been able to beat them, especially in their house. So that was a fun experience. And being able to work alongside some people that to this day I call as close friends is always awesome.
Of course, as a coach, what was that transition like for you from going from obviously Division II to then Division I in the same coaching year?
I mean, it was kind of pretty easy, as in, you just have a little bit more availability of help, graduate assistants, things like that. But it was pretty, after being a Division I athlete, a pretty seamless transition.
What was it like coming to UAB?
Awesome. So head coach Randy Norton recruited me in high school. And I would have played for him at Illinois State before that staff left to go to the University of Missouri. And so it was a pretty no-brainer when I was able to come here and work under him and the other coaches here. When our associate head coach, Taryn Martin, she was the director of basketball operations when I was getting recruited. So I've known her. She played at Illinois State. So it's kind of like one big family. Between the whole staff, we have so many ties within each other. So it kind of felt like we knew each other before we actually really knew each other. So it kind of makes our jobs really easy. I mean, we go to work with our best friends on a daily, which I think that helps us being able to coach our players, them seeing that we're a united front, we're a family first here in the office before we're a family for in the locker room and on the court.
What are some of the things that you've accomplished so far at UAB?
I mean, so I got here in May. I think for us, it's just, continuing to build on our culture, our winning culture that we have in place here, and going to new heights. Everyone's goal is always to win championships and then make that NCAA tournament and make a run in the NCAA tournament. So again, that's our that's our goal. And I think we have so far into conference play, continued to make noise and kind of turn heads, and our work's not done. I mean, every day we're going to work to be the best and to win that Conference USA championship and then go to the NCAA tournament.
Of course, can you talk about, of course, the culture that you've helped build at UAB?
Yeah, so it's we really want to pursue excellence in everything we do, whether it's on the court, in our personal lives, in the community. And I think we do that. We preach that on a daily, but we've done that in academics. I mean, our girls every semester have a really good GPA, and 3 out of the last 4 years, we've won the Conference USA Academic Excellence Award for our sport, being the top GPA. Top program with the program with the top GPA in women's basketball. So we've done that 3 out of the last 4 years. And that's a testament to our girls, off the court, in the classroom, they are putting 100% into that. And then on the court, we're 10 wins. We're in first place on our side of Conference USA. So continuing to do that every day, working towards that ultimate goal at the end. In the community, we're doing things all the time to try to, bridge that gap and between the community and the university. We're out at different places doing things, and then just them being great people at first. And that's a lot of that we figure out in the recruiting process of who they are and where they come from before we even know. That's how we know they're going to pursue excellence in their personal lives.
Who are some of the teams that you face in your conference, and who are some of the teams you face non-conferencely?
Yep. So in conference play, we play UTEP, UTSA, North Texas, Rice, Florida Atlantic, Florida International, Marshall, Western Kentucky, Louisiana Tech, Middle Tennessee, Old Dominion, Charlotte, Marshall, Western Kentucky. I think that's all of them. If I remember them all the top off my head. Southern Miss is another one too. And then non-conference, we kind of just, we went out this past year and played San Diego State and Pepperdine in non-conference over Thanksgiving. We decided we didn't play in a big tournament. We kind of created our own experience in our own tournament going out there. So going out to Malibu and San Diego was pretty cool. And then we just kind of play some other local teams. We played Mercer. We play, just whatever teams we can get on the schedule. I mean, we always play Sanford, which is right here down the road from us. So a little rivalry game here in town, which is always a good one.
What's it like, obviously, playing those in-conference teams like Middle Tennessee?
It's always a fight, so they're always great games, and always, they're 2.5 hours or less from us. So kind of the closest team in our conference. So kind of our biggest rival, I would say.
What does the recruitment process look like for prospective student athletes looking to play college women's basketball?
I think most student athletes that are in high school are either on an AAU team. So they get seen throughout our July eval period, which is our biggest eval period. And then we have a April and May eval period as well. And then throughout high school, we kind of we go to certain high school games and watch them, but you usually get on our target depending on what, you could get on there as young as, you're graduating in 3-4 years, a freshman in high school, or we could be seeing you first time in July, and we want to try to get in on you. But we would watch you in an eval period, and then we would talk to your high school coach, your AU coach, try to get some background on you. And then we would then talk to the prospective student athlete to start building a relationship, tell them about UAB, what we're about, all that. And then eventually would try to set up an unofficial visit, bring them to campus, kind of show them what we're about, other than just telling them what we're about over a phone. and then continue building the process and seeing if this is somewhere they could see themselves, see if this is somewhere that they can make a difference, to then eventually, offers come out and stuff like that. And then we would just continue to go through the process and watching them play, kind of cheering them on in that realm.
What are some of the things that you look at on these prospective student athletes when you go out to obviously evaluate them?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of times you're looking at their skill, what they can do on the court, but also you're looking at the intangibles of what they can do off the, that you don't see that sometimes pop up in a box score. Like, are they willing to take a charge? Do they work hard from what you're watching, whether it's a practice, a game, do they kind of have some dog in them? Like, are they going to fight out on the court? Or are they just going to, casually go play basketball? Do they love the game? I think that's the biggest thing is, do they love the game? And, sometimes that comes out in talking to them. Are they gym rats? Like, we want players that love to be in the gym, love to get better, and want to get better. So you kind of come out with some of that. Sometimes you can tell with players when you're watching them, but a lot of times that comes out in talking with them in conversations. But a lot of times when you're evaluating someone, you're also seeing how would they fit with our system of what we play, with the current team that we have, other players that we might have committed or things like that. How would that person fit in with the team that we're trying to make? And then that kind of process goes down the line.
Of course, on the official visit, what does the official visit look like for those prospective student athletes?
A lot of it is them being able to spend time with what could be their future teammates if they have not committed. If they, there's sometimes people come on an official visit and they have committed. So they're just, at that point, they're spending time with their future teammates. But again, you kind of do some of the same processes you would an unofficial visit because things have changed. So you might have a meeting set up with our academic counselor and advisor in academics, so she can go through all academic world. You might have a meeting set up with someone in the degree that you want to go into, a tour of campus, tour of living situations, the dorms, apartments, kind of a tour of Birmingham area. And then a lot of times, depending on the year, we would probably have a practice in there or something like that. So you'd watch a practice, but a lot of it is spending time with the players and getting to know them and start to build relationships with them to see if this is a place that they would want to be at.
Of course, as a coach, what's it like seeing those recruits on the official visit get to put on that UAB jersey and feel at home in it?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's an awesome feeling. I mean, any person that you that you bring on campus, you want them to love it as much as you love it. And your current student athletes love it. So you would just kind of, it's a cool feeling to see and know that not every single person that steps on your campus is going to be on your campus in the future, but you hope that, and that'd be why you're recruiting them, because you feel like they would be a good fit for your program.
What advice would you give those prospective student athletes that are in high school looking to play college basketball?
I mean, I think first and foremost, live it up. Those days go quick. Those AU days are over, but give it your all, and don't be concerned about what level you play college basketball for, because Division 1, 2, 3, NAIA, JUCO, any of those levels, great, because at some point you could be at Division 1, but they all have championships. You can and that's at the end of the day, that's what every person playing college basketball wants to do, is win a conference championship, win a championship, go to, your next phase and your perspective level of what that is. And I think you can achieve that at any level. So don't ever get hung up with that. And also don't be satisfied when you get that offer or that commitment and stop working, because the work never stops. The work will stop when you graduate college and your playing career could be over. But the work never stops once you receive that first offer or commitment. And don't be satisfied with just getting that one or two offers or offers that come your way. Always work. And just never give up on something that eventually the ball will stop bouncing. So don't give up on it and enjoy it, because it doesn't go. It seems like it might last forever, but it doesn't.
What advice would you give future college basketball players that are playing now and current players?
Yeah, I think, again, even in college basketball, you have to, live in the moment, enjoy the moments, whether they're big or small, whether you're playing or not playing, because at the end of the day, at whatever level it is, at some point you are getting a scholarship, you're on a scholarship. So you are getting the ability to get your school paid for. But live in the moment and enjoy it, because those 4 years of my college career went by fast. And of course, there's probably things that I wish I could have done better, or, and some of that could have been who knows what it could have been, but like, always continue to work, listen to your coaches. They have the best interest at your heart. And at least I know for us, like, we love every kid, whether they're playing 100 minutes, all minutes in every game, or they don't get in. We're going to treat them like everyone should be treated, and we're going to work with them and try to get them better, because at the end of the day, you recruited them here because you thought they could play here. So it's on our job to help them to get better.
What advice would you give those college basketball players that are looking to go on to the professional level, whether it's Athletes Unlimited or the WNBA?
I mean, I think that's an awesome opportunity. Pursue it as far as you want to pursue it, whether it's overseas, WNBA, any of those leagues that are being available for women to play in, I think is awesome. And to take that opportunity as far as you can take it. Again, don't stop working, because the work won't stop until you finally have to hang up those shoes.
What advice would you give future college coaches looking to get started in the industry?
I think don't get settled or set on a level. Again, I think the best thing for me that I did was go be an assistant coach at a Division II level, because I was able to do all things. I was able to go out recruiting. I was in budgets, on court work and player development, scouting reports, all of that at the Division II level before. So I was able to, continue doing that throughout where I am today. So don't get hung up on a level again there, but roll your sleeves up and be ready to work. Because where I have gotten today has not gone without hard work, and being willing to learn from other people, and being able to just kind of reach out to other people that I've known, whether it's former coaches or things like that, for advice, or if they were able to, help me get to where I am. Use your current coaches that you have, if that's something that you want to go into.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media, along with the UAB basketball program at?
My Twitter handle is at Seberger22. And then our UAB women's basketball Twitter handle is at UAB_WBBAL. Oh, geez. That's UAB_ women's b-ball. Sorry, butchered that. And we're found, both of those handles are the same on Instagram as well.
Thank you again, Coach Alison Seberger, for your interview, and best of luck in your future as the UAB assistant women's basketball coach.
Thank you so much for having me on.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon. And you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Alison Seberger, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.